Money has eyes, call it by its name. It is a living idea, a divine channel, a messenger of supply, flowing from the infinite. Too many people treat money as though it were a stranger, rare and difficult to find, when in truth it stands at the door of every mind, waiting to be recognized and invited in. Money is not a cold, lifeless object. It is a current of energy, guided by our thoughts, summoned by our words, and attracted through our faith. When we speak to money as though it hears us, it begins to move toward us. When we bless money and call it good, it becomes a loyal servant, eager to fulfill its purpose. Every thought we think about money becomes a command. If we call money hard, then it hides. If we claim that money never stays, then it leaves. But when we call money by its rightful name, abundance, freedom, expansion, circulation, it turns its gaze upon us. Money goes where it is welcomed. It goes where it is respected. It flows where channels of gratitude are open and where fear is replaced with joyful expectation. We do not chase money. We magnetize it. Like calls unto like, and prosperity answers to the voice of confidence. The world is filled with people who talk about what they lack and wonder why lack grows louder in their lives. The universe responds only to what is demanded by the spirit and claimed through speech. When you speak of wealth with conviction, wealth must appear. When you give thanks for supply before it manifests, you unlock its arrival. Money hears every word and obeys the laws set upon it by the human mind. That is why we must speak with intention. We declare, money flows freely to me. Money comes in expected and unexpected ways. Money is my friend, my ally, and my divine compensation. These are not mere wishes, they are spiritual decrees. There is no virtue in poverty and no guilt in receiving. Just as nature expresses excess in every tree, every ocean, every star-filled sky, so too are we meant to reflect that same overflowing abundance. Money supports the good we are here to do. It helps dreams take form. It lifts burdens and transforms possibilities into realities. When we understand this, we give money a sacred purpose instead of a fearful shadow. To call money by its name is to acknowledge its rightful place in our lives. It is part of the great circulation of blessings, meant to move, to build, to nourish, to uplift. The more freely it flows through our hands, the more freely it returns multiplied. We are not separate from the source of prosperity. We are expressions of it. Money responds to our clarity, our faith, our certainty that we are already provided for by the infinite mind. We speak and money listens. We claim and money appears. Money is a living energy that responds to our thoughts and words. It is not merely paper, metal, or a number in a bank account. It is an expression of the infinite abundance of the universe, shaped into a form that we can use here in the physical world. When we speak of money, we are speaking of movement, flow, and divine circulation. Every dollar, every coin, every bit of wealth carries a vibration, a frequency that aligns with the consciousness of the one who calls it forth. Money listens, money watches, money responds. It notices whether it is being honored or rejected, welcomed or feared. It understands the language of belief, and it appears wherever faith is strong and gratitude is sincere. When a person believes that money is scarce, that belief shuts the doors through which money might flow. It creates barriers and blockages in the mind that translate into physical reality. The universe will never contradict the frequency we choose to hold. If we say we are broke, lacking, or struggling, then we cast a spell upon ourselves that money must obey. Money is loyal in that way. It follows the command of the mind and the tone of the tongue. That is why so many people experience financial difficulty. They speak difficulty into existence. They reinforce poverty by naming it again and again. They declare what they fear rather than what they desire. But once we recognize money as a living energy that responds to our thoughts and words, we gain the power to transform our financial reality from the inside out. This transformation begins with speech. Words are carriers of intention, and intention is the sculptor of all manifestation. When someone speaks lovingly about money, when they call it a friend, a partner, a blessing, they reshape the invisible forces around them. They create a magnetic atmosphere that draws wealth closer. Money hears appreciation and comes joyfully. Money hears recognition and shows up. Words like easy, plenty, overflow, opportunity, and prosperity light the way for abundance to enter. Thought is the deeper foundation beneath speech. Thoughts are silent prayers, continuously shaping the world around us. Many people speak positively about money, but secretly hold fearful or limiting beliefs. They worry that money will run out, that wealth is reserved for others, that opportunities are scarce, that prosperity cannot stay. These conflicting thoughts create mixed signals that confuse the energetic flow. To truly attract money, thoughts and words must align. We must believe in abundance as a natural state. We must see ourselves as worthy of wealth and capable of receiving it without guilt or hesitation. Money as a living energy has its own behavior. It loves circulation. It loves to be used in ways that generate joy, growth, and upliftment. When money is hoarded out of fear, it begins to stagnate. It becomes tense and still. But when money is allowed to move, to support life, to create comfort and possibility, it returns with companions. It multiplies as it flows. The person who understands this does not cling to money in anxiety, but releases it with confidence, trusting that it will return multiplied. This is not reckless spending, but spiritual circulation, the act of allowing money to do what it is meant to do. Respect is another language money understands. If someone crumples a bill, curses their bank account, or feels resentment toward those who have wealth, they are pushing prosperity away. Money avoids environments where it is mistreated. It seeks those who honor it, even in small amounts. A person who joyfully manages what they have, no matter how little, signals to the universe, "I am ready for more." A person who complains about money signals, "I cannot handle increase." In every moment, through every reaction, we communicate with the energy of money. Gratitude is a powerful magnet. Even when funds seem limited, the act of giving thanks for what is present invites expansion. Gratitude turns a single dollar into 1,000 in consciousness. It tells the universe, "I see the abundance already forming." And because the universe always seeks to match recognition with manifestation, more supply appears. Gratitude clears the dust from our spiritual vision, so we can witness opportunities, ideas, and connections that were always available but previously unseen. Faith is the final and most potent ingredient. Faith is the knowing that what is desired is already on its way. It is the state of mind that trusts in the invisible cause before the visible effect arrives. Those who hold faith in their prosperity stand in a vibration that wealth cannot resist. Money gravitates towards certainty. It remembers the one who commands with confidence. It respects the one who holds steady even when the evidence has not yet materialized. Faith speaks abundance into the silence and watches as the silence responds. This understanding allows us to shift from chasing money to calling it. When we chase, we declare that it is running away. When we call, we acknowledge that it is already near. A magnet never runs after metal, it draws it forth effortlessly. Likewise, when we stand in the consciousness of abundance, dollars and opportunities begin to seek us out. Clients appear. Gifts arise. Unexpected income surfaces. Ideas flow freely. The living energy of money finds ways to enter our lives, because we have opened the spiritual channels that welcome it. To treat money as living energy is to recognize that it participates in our destiny. It wants to serve. It wants to assist in our dreams. It wants to support the good we are meant to express. Money is happiest when it helps build, uplift, heal, and expand. It delights in generosity and grows stronger in circulation. It comes to those who claim it with love and release it with wisdom. It stays where it feels valued and purposeful, and it multiplies in partnership with joyful intention. Money is always listening. It is always responding. It watches every belief, every emotion, every declaration. It stands ready to answer the call of prosperity consciousness, to gather itself in piles and flows wherever it is invited. It is a willing servant to the mind that recognizes its divinity. When we finally understand that our relationship with money is shaped by the energy we hold, we step into our rightful inheritance as co-creators of supply, speaking wealth into existence with the authority of our thoughts and the power of our words. Speak abundance with confidence to attract wealth. The universe listens to the voice of certainty, responding effortlessly to the tone of assurance. When we speak of prosperity with faith, we signal that we expect good, and the universe rushes to fulfill that expectation. Confidence is a spiritual magnet. It draws toward us the very things we boldly claim as ours. To speak abundance is not to wish or to plead. It is to declare what is already true in spirit, and soon to be visible in form. Every confident word becomes a seed planted in the fertile soil of universal supply, destined to grow into tangible results. Many speak of wealth timidly, as though they fear to offend the invisible powers that govern life. They whisper desire but shout doubt. They declare hopes but camouflage fears within the same breath. This inner conflict weakens the vibration of their words. When one says, "I want money," but inside believes, "I'll never have it," the universe hears the belief more loudly than the desire. Confidence, therefore, is the bridge that brings thought into form. Without it, desires remain shadows, never stepping fully into the light of manifestation. To speak abundance with confidence is to understand that the spiritual supply is already complete. Nothing is missing. Nothing must be earned through struggle or suffering. What we call wealth is simply the visible expression of an infinite storehouse. When we speak prosperity as a present reality, even before it appears, we align ourselves with that storehouse. This alignment is the essence of faith. It is the recognition that every need is already met in the invisible realm, awaiting our permission to manifest. Words like, "I am prosperous," "money comes to me with ease," and "my supply is unlimited," carry a vibration of authority. They do not beg, they command. They do not question, they affirm. The universe responds to authority because authority is the language of consciousness aware of its power. When we claim abundance confidently, we speak as creators, not as victims. We speak as those who understand that our relationship with money is governed by the laws of thought, not the limitations of circumstance. Confidence is not arrogance, it is not boastfulness, it is inner knowing, a quiet certainty that nothing can prevent the flow of what is rightfully ours. True confidence does not compete for wealth, it attracts wealth without struggle. It is grounded in the recognition that abundance comes from the divine source, not from any single person, job, or circumstance. When one channel closes, another opens instantly, for supply is inventive and endlessly creative. Confidence rests in this truth, that no obstacle is permanent and no delay is denial. Speech infused with confidence carries strength. It does not fracture under pressure. It does not shift to fear when bills appear or when temporary conditions seem unfavorable. Instead, it holds steady, knowing that the unseen is always working on behalf of those who trust. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to speak abundance even more boldly. When the outer world appears tight, the confident soul declares expansion. When income seems to shrink, the confident voice proclaims increase. The universe mirrors that unwavering expectation. Speaking abundance confidently also dissolves the harmful habit of limitation speaking. Many people constantly reinforce scarcity through casual remarks. "Money is tight. I can't afford that. There's never enough." These statements may seem harmless, but they carry the energetic weight of command. Each time they are spoken, they direct the flow of money away. When we replace such speech with declarations of plenty, we reverse the current. We turn the tide in our favor. Every word becomes a step toward greater prosperity. Confidence transforms imagination into a tool of wealth. When we envision ourselves living abundantly and speak as though that vision is already true, we call opportunities into our reality. ideas, people, and resources begin to align. We attract situations that match the energy of our self-declaration. The confident individual does not say, "Someday I will be abundant." They say, "I am abundant now," and the world shifts accordingly. Time obeys belief. What is claimed in the present becomes the present. Speaking abundance confidently also teaches the subconscious mind to accept prosperity as normal. The subconscious is the silent architect of our experience, building life according to the blueprint of our words. When we repeatedly speak wealth with strong conviction, the subconscious adopts abundance as its operating truth. Then, without strain, we naturally make choices, take actions, and notice opportunities that align with prosperity. Confidence reprograms the inner world, so the outer world must change in response. Those who speak abundance confidently become beacons of prosperity energy. Others feel uplifted in their presence. Success begins to circle around them because confidence creates momentum. Transactions flow smoothly, partnerships open, creative ideas flourish. Confidence signals readiness. It tells the universe, "I am prepared to handle the increase that is coming," and the universe never withholds what one is ready to receive. To speak abundance with confidence is also to release apology. Many have been conditioned to feel guilty for desiring wealth or ashamed for pursuing prosperity. These beliefs cause people to hide their success or minimize their goals, but guilt blocks supply. Apology repels opportunity. Confidence declares that abundance is natural and rightful. It honors the truth that prosperity supports our ability to give, create, help, and uplift. Speaking abundance confidently is therefore an act of service, not selfishness. Confidence amplifies gratitude. When we thank the universe for wealth not yet seen, we acknowledge that its arrival is guaranteed. Gratitude spoken boldly becomes a magnet for swift fulfillment. We speak as the one who already possesses what is desired, and possession becomes reality. Every confident declaration of thanks accelerates manifestation. Speaking abundance with confidence also strengthens resilience. When temporary setbacks arise, confidence refuses to interpret them as defeat. Instead, it interprets them as rearrangements, a shifting of the puzzle pieces to create a better outcome. Prosperity consciousness knows that good is always moving toward us, even when disguised as challenge. Confidence keeps us aligned with abundance through every change, ensuring that we remain open to receiving what is next. Each confident word spoken in favor of wealth becomes a light on the path of manifestation. It keeps us focused on possibility rather than limitation. It guides us toward inspired actions and bold decisions. It attracts mentors, allies, and opportunities that resonate with the vibration we maintain. And as abundance begins to appear, confidence grows stronger, creating a cycle of increasing prosperity. Money flows where it is welcomed and respected. The energy of money is sensitive, aware, and responsive to how it is treated. It does not linger where it is feared, resented, or mistreated. Instead, it gravitates toward environments filled with clarity, gratitude, order, and purpose. When we welcome money, we create a space for it to enter and a reason for it to stay. When we respect money, we allow it to fulfill its role as a tool of ease, comfort, creation, and fulfillment. Money wants to feel useful. It wants to contribute to our growth. It wants to circulate through our lives in uplifting and constructive ways. People push money away without realizing it. They speak harshly about it, calling it the root of all problems, believing it corrupts, or resenting those who have it. With every negative statement, money receives a message. You are not wanted here. Money hears the fear that says, you never stay. Money hears the suspicion that says, you must only come through struggle. When such beliefs are present, money does not feel welcome. It hesitates to enter because it recognizes that it would not be embraced. Respecting money begins with honoring its nature as a channel of good, not a source of harm or stress. Welcoming money means appreciating whatever amount is presently available. Even a small sum should be acknowledged with joy. Gratitude sends a signal that the door is open wider, that more is allowed to flow through. When we celebrate the arrival of money, no matter the form, a gift, a discount, a new client, an unexpected deposit, we affirm that money is wanted and valued, and what is valued multiplies. What is dismissed or taken for granted diminishes. Respecting money also means handling it with care and intention. Treating money as sacred involves both practical and spiritual practices. On the practical level, this includes managing finances responsibly, keeping wallets and financial spaces organized, paying attention to income and expenses with appreciation rather than anxiety. Disorder in money matters communicates chaos, and money avoids chaos. It prefers order, clarity, and purpose. When money is handled mindfully, it feels safe to increase. On the spiritual level, respecting money means speaking about it with love and confidence. It means affirming that money is good and desires to serve. It means making decisions that reflect trust rather than fear. When someone hoards money out of panic, the energy becomes trapped. Money wants to move. It wants to circulate. Respecting money is allowing it to be expressed, to support life, to create experiences that bring joy and freedom. Wise circulation invites return. Every time we spend with a grateful heart, we signal abundance rather than loss. Money flows toward enthusiasm. When we use money to do what we love, it feels its purpose being fulfilled and brings more of itself along the way. When we invest in growth, in self-care, in creativity, or in ventures that uplift the spirit, money recognizes that circulation through us creates expansion. It wants to be part of that expansion. The more joy we associate with money's presence, the more reasons it has to remain in our lives. There are those who chase money and wonder why it runs farther away. Chasing conveys desperation, and desperation implies that money is refusing us. That belief pushes money even further. Welcoming money is different. It is calm, steady, certain. It knows money is always seeking new paths to flow. It knows that the source of supply is infinitely creative. Welcoming money looks like preparing a place for it. Mentally, emotionally, physically. It looks like expecting good news. It looks like taking steps as though prosperity is already present. It looks like blessing others when they receive success, knowing that their abundance proves the flow is near and active for all. Respecting money means releasing resentment toward wealth. When someone feels bitterness toward the rich or jealousy toward someone else's financial blessings, they block prosperity. Money will not join a household or a heart that resents its presence in another's life. Respect says, I celebrate the good that others receive, knowing it reflects what is possible for me. Celebration invites expansion. Envy invites contraction. Welcoming money also includes healing old stories and subconscious programs about scarcity. Many received messages in childhood that money was evil, or limited, or unreliable. These beliefs operate silently but powerfully, shaping experiences until they are uprooted and replaced with truth. The truth is that money is an expression of universal abundance, and abundance is our natural state. We are meant to flourish, not merely survive. Welcoming money means saying yes to life, yes to opportunities, yes to the ease that money brings. When we feel guilty for having money, we push it away. When we believe we must suffer to deserve, we block its flow. Respect removes guilt and acknowledges that wealth supports our ability to serve others, to express our gifts, to create beauty, to uplift, to contribute. Money strengthens our positive impact when we allow it. Respect is understanding that money does not change character, it reveals it. In the hands of a generous soul, money becomes a force of compassion and creativity. Money arrives with respect for timing as well as intention. It wants to support us but will not force its way in where fear dominates. It gently waits for an invitation. That invitation is extended through confidence, clarity, organization, gratitude, joy, and the willingness to allow more good. People who thrive financially are not always the ones who work hardest. They are the ones who understand the relationship between thought and flow. They welcome money with open arms and open minds. They respect money as a partner in life's journey. And because money feels appreciated, it returns again and again, bringing expansion to every area it touches. Money seeks lovers of life, believers in possibility, and stewards of prosperity. It seeks the souls who honor its role as a generous tool of freedom, opportunity, and expression. When money feels welcomed, it comes with ease. When it feels respected, it stays with loyalty. Gratitude and faith unlock financial supply. Every blessing begins as a seed planted in the unseen, and gratitude is the sunlight that awakens its growth. Faith is the water that nurtures it into form. When we give thanks for the money we have and the money that is on its way, we open the gates for abundance to enter. Gratitude declares that we trust the source of supply. Faith declares that we expect its continued flow. Together, they form an unbreakable bond with prosperity. They signal to the universe that we are ready, willing, and receptive to more. Gratitude and faith are the spiritual currency that calls forth visible wealth. So many people believe that they must wait until abundance appears before they express gratitude, but the spiritual law works in reverse. First we give thanks, then abundance forms. Gratitude is not a reaction, it is a cause. When we appreciate even the smallest sign of prosperity, we multiply its presence. A single coin, blessed with thanks, becomes the foundation of greater riches. A paycheck, no matter its size, becomes a symbol of flow rather than limitation when gratitude surrounds it. The moment we honor what is already in our hands, we create room for more to arrive. Gratitude shifts focus from lack to sufficiency. Whatever we focus on expands. When we dwell on bills or shortages, we feed the energy of fear and scarcity. But when we speak words of appreciation, thank you for the money that pays these bills. Thank you for every new opportunity. Thank you for the increase already coming. We step into a vibration where prosperity recognizes us. Gratitude lifts our eyes from obstacles to possibilities. It changes how we speak, how we see, how we expect. It becomes a living signal to the universe that we are aligned with the frequency of wealth. Faith is the companion to gratitude, the electricity behind every manifestation. Faith speaks abundance when the outer world has yet to provide proof. It holds firm when the bank account is low, when the income dips, when the job disappears. Faith is the inner knowing that supply is always in motion, always seeking to reach us. Even when the form changes, the source remains constant. Faith sees through temporary circumstances and recognizes that the universe organizes itself to support those who trust. It never entertains defeat. It never bows to limitation. Faith calls abundance home and keeps the door propped wide open. Gratitude and faith work as a team because gratitude affirms what is present while faith affirms what is becoming. Gratitude is rooted in this moment. Faith leaps ahead into the next. Gratitude says, I see the good now. Faith says, I know the good that is coming. Gratitude celebrates the current blessings. Faith celebrates those that are still invisible. When the two are combined in daily practice, financial supply cannot help but respond. They create a magnetic pull that draws resources, opportunities, and wealth toward us with increasing speed. Money loves gratitude. It feels acknowledged, appreciated, and welcomed. When money arrives and we respond with joy, it senses that it has fulfilled its role well. It feels encouraged to bring more of itself and to return again and again. People who practice gratitude for money find themselves repeatedly surprised by unexpected income, financial gifts, and serendipitous blessings. They are not lucky. They are aligned. They understand that the spiritual flow always responds to the heart that says, thank you. Gratitude turns every financial experience into a doorway for increase. Money also responds powerfully to faith. Faith reassures money that we trust its presence and longevity. When we doubt or fear, money retreats. It feels unwelcome. But when we hold a deep certainty that money is always on the way, always replenishing, always abundant, we create stability that attracts greater supply. Faith eliminates the emotional turbulence that pushes money away. It anchors us in calm confidence, allowing wealth to flow smoothly rather than sporadically. Expressions of gratitude and faith are not limited to words, they are embodied in our actions. When we make decisions from confidence rather than fear, we demonstrate faith in supply. When we spend with joy instead of anxiety, we demonstrate gratitude for what we can afford. When we bless every transaction, whether giving or receiving, we send a message of abundance to the universe. We become participants in circulation rather than hoarders in scarcity. Gratitude opens our hands. Faith empowers them. Many believe they must solve their financial challenges through effort alone, forgetting that the spiritual laws are always working alongside every practical step. Action without gratitude becomes struggle. Effort without faith becomes exhaustion. But when practical decision-making is infused with heartfelt appreciation and unwavering trust, even small actions produce great results. The person who believes in abundance and speaks thanks with authority will notice resources appearing where none seemed possible. Doors once closed begin to unlock. Solutions reveal themselves. A path forms beneath every faithful step. Gratitude softens the heart and washes away resentment about the past. Faith clears the mind and erases worry about the future. Together, they anchor us fully in the present, where manifestation actually takes place. Many wait for the future to bring wealth, but gratitude and faith bring wealth into the present moment, right here, right now. We do not attract what we want someday. We attract what we accept as true today. Gratitude and faith declare abundance now. Each time we express gratitude for the money already in circulation, paying bills, funding services, nourishing lives, we align with the natural movement of supply. Money is meant to move, and gratitude encourages that movement. Faith ensures that the movement continues. People who live in these energies find themselves living not in fear of tomorrow, but in excitement of what new blessings are unfolding. Their inner world becomes a magnet for prosperity. Gratitude opens the heart. Faith opens the gates. They shape the way we think, feel, and speak about money. They cultivate a consciousness that naturally attracts abundance rather than repelling it. A person who practices gratitude does not dwell in complaint. A person who practices faith does not dwell in fear. They understand that every challenge is temporary and that the universe is always orchestrating supply with perfect timing. Their mindset becomes fertile soil for financial increase, creativity, and divine provision. Gratitude reminds us that abundance has already begun. Faith assures us that the story is still expanding. Wealth supports our divine purpose and good works. Money is not a distraction from spiritual destiny. It is a resource that empowers us to fulfill it. When we understand wealth as a tool of creation rather than a symbol of ego, everything changes. We stop feeling guilty for wanting more, and we begin to recognize that our desires for expansion are guided by the infinite. We are not meant to shrink our lives to fit scarcity. We are meant to stretch into the full expression of our gift. Wealth allows that stretch to happen, with grace instead of strain. Every soul carries a mission, a calling uniquely designed. That calling often requires tools, education, travel, environments that support growth, instruments for creativity, resources to serve others, space to dream. Money makes those tools accessible. The more aligned we are with our true purpose, the more supply flows toward us because purpose gives money a direction. Money is energized by intention. When it senses that it will be used to uplift, build, support, and contribute, it comes swiftly and in abundance. There are those who have been taught that poverty is holy, that struggle is noble, that wanting prosperity is selfish. Yet nature reveals the opposite truth. Every tree produces more leaves than it needs. Every ocean holds more water than can be used. Every field is designed to multiply its seed. Abundance is not an exception, it is the law of life. To embrace wealth is to align with the pattern of the universe. When we allow ourselves to flourish financially, we align with our divine identity as co-creators. We can only give from what we possess. The more resources we hold, the more good we can release into the world. Wealth gives us choices. It offers freedom from survival mode, so we can focus on purpose rather than worry. When the mind is consumed by fear of lack, creativity suffers. Anxiety blocks inspiration. A person worried about their next bill cannot fully hear the whisper of divine guidance. But with prosperity comes peace, and in peace, intuition speaks clearly. Wealth becomes a supportive foundation upon which our mission can stand tall and secure. Good works expand through financial support. Imagine the schools that can be built, the shelters that can be funded, the art that can be birthed, the innovations that can be discovered when people of purpose embrace prosperity. Money in the hands of a compassionate soul becomes medicine, nourishment, opportunity. It becomes the answer to prayers, not the cause of problems. Those who fear money or reject wealth out of guilt cut themselves off from the very tool that could help them fulfill their destiny more powerfully. Wealth also honors the giver. When we receive financial blessings, we play our part in the circulation of abundance. We allow others to give to us, just as we will one day give to others. Every transaction becomes an exchange of good, a continuous flow of divine energy moving from one purpose to the next. Wealth is not something to hoard, but something to circulate with intention. As it moves, it multiplies. As it multiplies, its impact expands. Divine purpose does not thrive in limitation. It thrives in resourcefulness. It thrives in access. It thrives in the ability to seize opportunities without fear. When someone feels empowered financially, they no longer hesitate to take the steps necessary to fulfill their calling. They invest in their learning, their healing, their growth. They travel to where they are needed. They give themselves the rest, nutrition, and environment that keeps their spirit strong. Wealth, therefore, is not a luxury. It is a form of spiritual self-respect. Money supports personal transformation, which in turn supports the transformation of others. When we rise, we bring others with us. When we prosper, we become an example of possibility. We say through our lives, abundance is available for everyone. Wealth demonstrates what is achievable when one aligns with divine favor and takes inspired action. It reminds others that there is no virtue in lack and no shame in success. When spiritually aligned people rise in prosperity, the world becomes more generous, more visionary, more healed. Financial abundance empowers us to say yes to the opportunities that lead closer to purpose. It frees us from settling for survival-level living. It encourages innovation, encourages leadership, encourages boldness. Money amplifies our ability to make a difference. It is not the mission itself, but it fuels the mission's reach. It keeps dreams alive and allows them to expand beyond personal benefit into collective upliftment. Wealth also creates stability, which is essential for spiritual focus. When basic needs are met and exceeded, we can turn our energy towards service, creativity, and contribution. We can build something lasting. We can leave a legacy. Poverty often forces short-term decisions. Wealth allows long-term vision. A purpose-driven life asks us to think beyond the moment, and prosperity gives us the freedom to do so. When we embrace wealth as a spiritual ally, we break the cycle of generational scarcity. We rewrite the financial story for ourselves and those who come after us. We model prosperity consciousness for children and communities. We show them how to welcome money rather than fear it, how to use money wisely rather than worship or demonize it. Wealth becomes a teacher, a tool that shows us how to expand love in practical ways. Every dream requires some form of support to manifest. Money is one of the most accessible forms of support the universe provides. It is not the goal, it is the vehicle that carries us toward the goal. When we treat money as a divine partner, it responds with loyalty. When we honor it, it honors our plans. When we give it purpose, it becomes powerful. Money guided by purpose is unstoppable. It grows, multiplies, uplifts, and continues revolving through cycles of good. Wealth is not an accident for those aligned with purpose. It is a natural companion. It arrives to support vision, to expand possibility, to provide the physical means for spiritual impact. When we stop resisting prosperity, we allow our purpose to operate at its highest potential. We step into a life not just of survival, but of meaningful influence. We become channels of blessing, conduits of generosity, leaders of possibility. Money wants to help fulfill the destiny planted in our hearts. Wealth moves toward those who are ready to use it for the good they are called to express.